Good morning, students. Today I am going to explain about two concepts. First one is string buffer and its method, and second one is inheritance and its method. So already people familiar with this concept inheritance. So today I am going to explain three different types of inheritance. So before moving to this, first we have a recap session. First question: which of these classes super class of string and string buffer class? So strings and string buffer, so both are classes in Java. So what is the super class for string and string buffer class? Any answer? Which of these classes super class of string and string buffer class? Java.util, Java.lang, ArrayList, none of the mentioned. Option B. Any other answer? Okay. Java.lang package. So inside Java.lang package we have string class. So inside string class we have lot of methods. So if you want to perform some operations on string means, so compiler automatically invoke java.lang package. So correct answer is java.lang. So next one, string in Java is a class, object, variable, character array. String in Java is a class, object, variable, character array. Any other answer? String is not an object. In Java, we have string class and string buffer class. So inside we have lot of methods, that is length function, index of caret. We have lot of functions, methods. If you want to perform some operations means we need to create an object. But string is not an object. It is a class. The string is a class in Java. String is a class. So inside class we have lot of methods. So if you want to access the particular method, we must create object for the string class. So string is a class, not a character array, not an object. So next one, what will be the output of the following program? Here we have character array A, B, C. From that, we are going to find a string. String S equal to new string of chars. We are going to print S. What is the output? So here we declare a character array A, B, C. So if you want to convert that as string concept means string S equal to new string of char. That is a variable name. So inside character array we have A, B, C. So it combines all the values and produce the output as A, B, C. So that is the string value. Next one, what will be the output of the following Java program? What will be the output of the following Java program? Here we declare string object obj equal to 10 plus 20 plus like plus Java again 10 plus 10. Option C. Any other answer? Any other answers? Okay, here first we have integer value 10. Again we have integer value 20. So what they will do, what the compiler will do means first it perform addition on two operand, that is 10 plus 20. So equal to 30. Again we have string literal. So 30 plus string is 30 like. So again this is one string literal. So again we are going to perform addition. That is again we have 30 like Java. So these are string literal. Again we have 10. So that is added. So that is added at the after Java we have 10. Again we have 10. So first these two are integer value. So compiler first add these two values. So 10 plus 20 equal to 30. Again integer plus string literal. So it is concatenated together. It perform concatenation operation. So 30 like. This is a string value 30 like. Again we have Java. This is a string. So string plus string concatenation. Again it concatenate all the values 30 like Java. Again these three are string values. So it perform again concatenation value. String plus value. So 10. So these all called as strings. Again last we have 10 that is added at the end. So in this way it perform string concatenation operation. But first two values are integer value. 10 plus 20 that is 30. So again integer is added with string literal. So it is an string value that is 30 like. Again the string is added with string literal. So 30 like Java. So this is string. So string plus integer that is it perform concatenation operation. So 30 like Java 10. Again we have 10. So again it perform concatenation operation. So 10. So D is the correct answer. Okay, next one. Which of these method of a class string is used to check whether a given object starts with a particular string literal? So what does this means? We have to check whether a string starts with particular string literal or not. How to check this means? So I will show the demonstration. So first we need to declare a string. String s equal to welcome. Again I'm going to check whether it starts with a particular string literal or not. So for that we are going to do object dot start with. Starts with of WEL. So it checks whether the string starts with WEL or not. So if it starts with WEL, it print true. Otherwise, it print false. So this is the method used to check whether the string literal starts with a particular character or not. So it display the answer as true. So here we are going to check whether the string starts with the particular string literal or not. So WEL, here we have welcome. So WEL, it starts with WEL. So it print the value true. So otherwise it show the output as false. So that is the purpose of using starts with function. In the same way, we can check end with also. So fifth one answer is starts with. So here we are going to check whether the particular string starts with particular string literal or not. For that we are using a function starts with of. So if you want to check and end with character means we go for ends with of function. So this is the usage of starts with and end with function. So today I am going to explain about the concept string buffer class. So previous session I explained about a concept string. So string is immutable. We cannot perform any modification on the existing strings. So if you want to perform some modification on the existing string, we go for string buffer class. So directly I move to the demonstration. So first one, how to create a string buffer class. String buffer, it is also a class. String is a class, string buffer also a class. Inside string buffer, we have lot of method as same as string methods. Okay. So first, how to create a string buffer class. So for that, we have to use class string buffer. S is capital and B is capital. We are going to create an object SD equal to new string buffer of hello. So again, I am going to print SD. So in this way, we can create string and string buffer class. We cannot directly assign string to string buffer class. So in string, we have assigned string S equal to hello. So but in string buffer, we cannot directly assign string value into this particular variable. So if you want to create a string in this way only, we can create string in string buffer class. String buffer object equal to new string buffer of followed by your string. And if you want to display the string, you have to go with system.out.println. What is the output? Hello is our output. So in this way, we can create string buffer. So next one, we have a length function. So how to check length? Object dot length of. It will display number of characters present in the hello string. So again, so how many characters? 5. So this is the output. Next we have index of method. I is small letter, O is capital letter. So we are going to find an index value for the particular character. So example, E. I am going to find index of character E. Okay, index of E is 1. So we must declare within a double quotation. So how to check index of particular character? So object dot index of the character. So character of index value of E is 0th position, first index. So first index we have E. So what is the output? 1 is our output. So next one we have an before moving to this, first we have an append function. So how to perform append operation means so directly using string object sd dot append of hello Java. So I'm going to add Java into the end of this string hello. So sd dot append of Java. So output is hello Java. So first, if you want to create a string class through string buffer means if you want to create string using string buffer means first we need to declare string buffer object sb equal to new string buffer of hello. And system.out.println sb means it display hello is an output. So if you want to add some string into the existing string means we are going with append function. So sb dot append of Java. So it will display hello Java. So and if you want to perform index of operation, we have to give a particular character and it will display the index value for this particular character, index of J. So index of j is 3, 4, 5. So this is an so in string buffer we can perform string operation in the existing string, but in string class we cannot perform string concatenation with the initial string. So that is the difference between string buffer and string. So in this way we can find an index of value. And next one is on char at. So how to find a particular character means sb dot object dot char at of 4. So I'm going to find fourth index character. So fourth index means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. O is our output. So already we have 3 print statements. So it display all the output. First one is append method. So hello Java. Second we have index of method. So it find the index value for j. Index is 5. And next we are going to find a char of index 4. So char of index 4 is O. So that is the output. Next we have a function insert of. So if you want to insert some character into this existing strings, we go for insert. That is sb dot insert of. So we need to give an index position where we have to insert a value. So 4, 2. I'm going to insert 2 into index position 4. So last one, hello HELLTOO Java. So index position 4, it add 2. So in this way we can insert some characters or string into existing strings. So if you want to check the original string means we can check. So system.out.println of SB. Whether we can check whether original string is modified or not. Println of SB. So original string is hello to TOO Java. So in this way we can perform operation on string buffer, but in string concept the original strings cannot be modified. It is an immutable strings. But in string buffer class we can change the original strings. So in this way we can create a string buffer class. Next we have an replace method. So in the string concept, how to replace a string means we have to give object dot replace of old character comma new character. But in string buffer we need to give a starting index and ending index and a string value. So in this way only we can perform a reverse operation. System.out.println sb dot reverse of, we need to give starting index where to where we have to replace of starting index 1, 2, 3 comma high. So I am going to replace the value index from 1 to 2. It exclude last index. So HILTOO Java. So first index is 0, E1, L2. So again L is 3. So it exclude the third index. It consider only 1 and 2, first and second index value, but it exclude the third index. So it replace first index position and second index position. So output is HILTOO Java. So in this way we can replace operation. But in string we cannot replace in this way. In string means we can give object dot replace of old string comma new string. So in this way we have to perform a replace method. Next one is a reverse method. So if you want to print the statement in reverse order, directly you have to give sb dot reverse of. So last line, it print all the characters in reverse order. It print the strings in reverse order. So in this way, we can perform reverse operation. Next, we have to find a substring of a particular string. So how to perform substring means SB dot substring of, we have to give an index value. From where to where, we have to find a substring. Example 1, 5. So it includes first index, but it excludes fifth index value. So it takes value from first index, second index, third index. Okay, check the last line. Before we are performing a reverse operation, so the character in reverse order. So it print first index value, second index value, third index value, and fourth index value. Okay, in this way we can perform substring operation. So we have append method, insert method. Insert method means we need to give an index value and our string. So first we have an append method. So if you want to add some string into existing string, we go for append method, that is sb.append of Java. So already we have a string hello. So again it added with the previous string hello Java. Again, if you want to find an index value for particular character, we go for index of method. So sb.index of j. So index of j means our original string is hello Java. So index of j will be identified. And char at of particular index. Here I am declaring the index value. So from this particular index, which character is present, that will be displayed. So and next we have an insert method. So if you want to insert some characters or string into our existing string, we go for insert method. Insert of 4, 2. So at position index position 4, it added the statement 2, string 2. Again we have a replace method. So how to replace a character or string means we have to give a starting index and ending index. So again the starting and before the ending strings are replaced and it added the new strings. So next one, reverse of method. So if you want to print the string in reverse order, we go for reverse of method. And last one is a substring. If you want to find a substring from the original string, we go for sb.substring of index value. So it include index first index and it exclude last index. It means it takes index position from 1, 2, 3 and 4. But it exclude character from fifth index. So in this way we can find a substring operation. So that's all about string buffer concept. The first one is how to create a string buffer. So through string buffer class, we can create a string. So that is first concept. So append method. If you want to append any string into the existing string, we can go with append function. So object.append of and your string value. And insert, we need to insert a character or a string into a particular index position. That way we go with sb.index of function. We need to give an index position and string value. And if you want to perform delete operation also, we can perform delete. That is sb.delete of, we need to give an index positions. So from where to where, we go for a deletion operation. So it includes first index, it excludes last index. So first character will be eliminated and second character will be eliminated. It should not include the third character, third index character. So in this way it perform deletion operation. So next one is a reverse operation. So if you want to perform reverse operation, directly you have to give object name dot reverse of. So it prints the statement in reverse order. So next one is a replace method. So if you want to replace a string from existing string, we go for sb.replace of. We must give starting index and ending index and a string name. So in this way we can replace the string. And if you want to find the length of a string means directly you have to declare object name dot length of. That is, see the example, string buffer str1 equal to new string buffer of. That is str1 is an object name. So str1 dot length of. So what is the length of this one? Here we have an white space. So what is the length of this string? 1. If you are not given any white spaces here means the length of the string is 0. So in this way it will calculate the length of the string. So next one, index of. So if you want to find an index value for particular character, we go for index of function, that is object dot index of character. So it find the character of the particular index. Sorry, it find the index of the particular character. So next one is char at of. So char at of means here we must declare an index value. So based on the index value, it takes the character value. So in char at of 0 means 0th position we have W. So it will print the output as W. Next substring, we have to give a starting index and ending index. It find a substring from this original strings. So these are string buffer concept. Next, we have an inheritance and its types. So first owners, I explained the concept inheritance. So here we have 3 different types that is majorly focused on today. So first, before moving to this, I just give a recall about inheritance. So inheritance means deriving a new class from an existing class. So here the derived class is this one, that is a child, and this is a base class. So deriving a new class from the base class is known as inheritance. So this derived class, it contains its own property and also it contains properties of its parent class. So that is inheritance concept. So we can perform reuse operations, reusability. So that is the main advantage in inheritance. So see the right side example, superclass we have animal and subclass we have dog, and dog it contains its own property and also it include the parent property, common property. Animal it contains common property as eat and sleep. That is also included in this subclass dog. So in this way, we can perform inheritance operations. So this class is called as subclass or derived class, and this class is called as superclass or base class. So or parent-child class. So it contains a relationship, parent-child relationship, that is a relationship. So that is overview about inheritance. So today I am going to explain about 3 types of inheritance. First one is single inheritance. Second one, multi-level inheritance. Third one is hierarchical inheritance. So single inheritance means, so see the example. Here we have only one base class and only one derived class. So in this derived class, it has its own property and also it extends properties from the base class. That is single inheritance. So how to extend properties from base class means through the keyword extend. Through the keyword extend only we can inherit properties from the base class. So that is first concept. And second we have base class, that is multi-level inheritance, base class, derived class and derived class. We can have more than one derived class, that is multi-level inheritance. So see this example, first we have a base class, again we have a derived class. So this derived class, it contains its own property and also it contains its property from parent. So that is derived class 1. And here we have derived class 2. So this derived class 2, it contains its own property and also it inherits properties from the derived class 1. So already derived class 1, it contains its own property and its parent property, isn't it? So this derived class, it derived all the properties from the base class, that is derived 1. So for derived 2, it contains properties of derived 2 class, derived class 1 and base class, because this base class property is inherited to this derived class. So this derived class 1, it contains its own property and also it contains its parent property. So coming to this concept, that is derived class 2, so it inherits all the properties from derived class 1. But in derived class 1, already it contains its parent property also. So that is a parent, child, parent and grandparent relationship. So similar to our family relationship, that is multi-level inheritance. And next one is on hierarchical inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance means we have only one parent class and we have more than one child class. That is an hierarchical inheritance. So this child class, it contains its own property and also it contains its parent property. And in the same way, this child class too, it contains its own property and also it contains properties from the parent class. This is hierarchical inheritance. So these three different types are present in our hierarchical concept. So first one is on single inheritance. So previous session itself, I explained the same concept. So directly moving to the demonstration part. So I think you all are clear. We have a base class, that is class A, and we have class B. So class B, it contains its own property, and through single inheritance, we can inherit properties from the base class also. So how to inherit the properties from base class? Through extend keyword. See the program. First we have a base class. Next we have a child class. So child class, it contains its own property, that is integer b equal to 20 and void show method. These are the properties of child class. And if you are using extent of parent method, so this is inheritance concept. So it extend properties from base also. So again, the child contain integer a equal to 10, void display method, integer b equal to 20, void show method. So if you want to display all the methods, we can display. So all the values we can display. See the last one, inside public static void main. So through the child object, we can access properties of child and parent. I'm going to create only one object for child class. Child obj equal to new child of. So again, from this obj object, I'm going to access child class and parent class. That is obj.show, obj.display. Obj.display is a parent class property. So through the child class object, I can access both the child and parent class. So directly move for a demonstration. So first we have a parent class, that is class parent. So inside we have some properties. So int a equal to 10. So and again we have a method int message of. So this is a parent class. Again, I'm going to create a child class. This is single inheritance means we have parent class and child class relationship. So I'm going to create a child. So same concept. I'm going to create child. So class child integer child, it contains its own property. Integer b equal to 20. Void message 1 of hello. So this is child class. Here we are using a concept inheritance. So how to inherit properties from base class? Through the keyword extend. EXTENDS. Extend which class? Parent class. So first we need to create a parent class. Again we need to create a child class. And if you want to inherit properties from base class means we have to give extend and class name, that is parent. So this is parent and child. So again we have a class single inherit. Okay. So in our program, we have parent and we have child. So this child, it inherit all the properties from parent, isn't it? Because here we are using a concept, inheritance concept. So I'm directly create an object for child class. So child, class name is child. I'm going to create an object for child, that is obj equal to new child of. Okay, through this object obj dot, through this object I'm going to call all the functions of parent and child. So I'm not declaring about parent class. I'm not bothered about parent class. Just I am creating an object for child class. Through the child class object, I'm going to access all the properties. So obj dot. So first one, I'm going to display a statement obj dot message of. This is on parent class property, isn't it? Because child it can inherit all the properties. So directly through the child object, I'm going to call the parent class method. So obj dot message of. Again, I'm going to print a statement system dot out dot println. So I'm going to print a base class value, that is a equal to 10. So through this child class object, I'm going to print a value, that is obj dot a. Okay. Next, I'm going to display a child class method. So for that same object, obj equal to our child class object, sorry, method name was message one. So here we need to change obj dot message one now. Again, system dot out dot println, our child class contain a value b. So obj dot b now. So again, we need to close all those things. So here our class name was yes inherit. So save us, change the file name as inherit.java. So again compile the program javac yes inherit.java. So no error. Again we need to run the code. So java yes inherit. So our output is hi 10 hello 20. So see our program. So first we have object dot message of. So object of message of means it called the message of method. So message of method we have inside message of method we have hi. Okay. So first statement is object dot message of. So inside a main method, first I'm declaring a statement object dot message. So this function directly call the message method. So void message inside we have system dot out dot println hi. So this is the first output. And next I'm what I declared here system dot out dot println obj dot a. So obj dot a means so it calls a value, that is a value is 10. So through this object I am calling this a value. So answer is 10. So hi 10 first output. And next obj dot message 1. So this message 1 it moves to this message 1 of method. So here we have hello. So it print hello. So again we have next statement system dot out dot println object dot b. So it print b value 20. So we can give the statements in any order. So it print the output. So this is a single inheritance. I think you clear with this concept. So first we need to create a parent class and we need to create a child class. Here we are using a single inheritance concept. So we have only one parent and only one child. So if you want to inherit properties from parent means we have to declare extend keyword. Through extend keyword only we can perform inheritance operation. Extend class parent. From which class we are going to inherit all the property, that is parent class. So and child it contains its own properties. So and also this child it inherit all the properties from the base class parent. So this is single inheritance. Through the child class object I can access all the methods and variables. So next one is on multi-level inheritance. We will discuss those things in next session. If you have any doubt, please post your answer in the chat box. Call you show the output, ma'am. Call you show the output means I'm not able to understand your question, ma'am. Can you show the output? Okay. So our programmers Java C, yes, inheritance.java. So next I'm going to compile, run the program Java S inherit. So our answer is HI. Can you able to see? Hi, 10. We have first HI, that is parent property, and next we have 10, that is parent class variable, and next we have child class method hello, and we have child class variable 20. I will show the program. S inherit. See, our parent class contain message of, inside a message of we have hi, and parent class variable is 10, and we have child class variable 20, and we have child class method, it contain a statement hello. Okay ma, any other doubt? Okay, next class we will discuss about multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance. So multi-level inheritance, that is also a same concept. So in multi-level we have two parents, that is grandparent, parent and child. So see the program. First we have parent class. So inside parent it contains its own property, and we have a child. So child it contains its own property, and this child it extend property from the parent. That is a multi-level inheritance. See the syntax. Class A, right side. Class A, inside we have fields and methods, and class B it extend properties from class A. So class B extend A, and again class C extend B, but in B it contains B's property and A property. Okay, so next we have class grandchild extend child class. So grandchild it contains its own property, and also it inherit all the properties from this child class. But this child class it contains its own property and parent property. So child class it contains C value was 30, B value was 20, and A value was 10. And this child class it contains a statement as parent class, child class, G child, that is grandchild class. So this child class contain B value 20, A value 10, and it contain statement child class and parent class because it inherit properties from base class. So this parent class it contain only A value and the parent class statement. So we will discuss this in next session. I will show demonstrations. Today we covered a topic string buffer and single inheritance. Previous session we have a string class. We completed a string class. So string and string buffer, both the methods are most are similar, but in string, that is an immutable string buffer, we can change a string elements. Okay, that is the difference between strings and strings buffers. Okay, if you have no doubt, you can leave the session.